Okay, if you had to, would you choose Parramatta or Penrith?
Penrith.
Yes.
Sorry, I am like...
Alrighty, welcome to episode 2 of Is That a Girl podcast. I'm Katie and I've got Benny Hodge here with me, and we have Ali Brigginshaw, NRL superstar, really biggest name in the NRLW at the moment, I would say personally, and I think Benny would agree with me. Ali, like, where do I even start? 2013 World Cup winner, 2017 World Cup winner, 2018, 19, 20 Brisbane Broncos captain and premiership winner, Jillaroos captain, Broncos captain, Queensland captain. You've won the Origin this year and last year. I think the first 2 New South Wales won, but yeah, like that's just a massive list of accolades there. Like I can't even begin to imagine like that feeling that you have right now. But yeah, what we want to know is where did it all begin? How did it all start?
So it started when I was 9, I guess. I always wanted to play and Dad used to play, so I just wanted to be like Dad. He, played for Queensland and my brother used to play, but Dad was probably my biggest idol growing up, and I asked him if I could play and he actually said no, and I was like, oh, why? Like, you used to play, my brother plays, and he just said I didn't want his little girl playing until she learnt the game. And so every afternoon, I'd be out the back tackling my brother and learning how to play the game. And I think that was a big reason why when I came into the game, I was fearless. I didn't have any thoughts around getting injured. I just had learned how to tackle. So Dad had all faith in me and that I knew how to play the game. And he took me over when I was 10 years old after a year of practicing. So took me over to North Ipswich Tigers, where I then started my career as the only girl amongst a lot of boys, and at the time you don't know that that's not normal. So I played against some amazing guys, and I got to play regional teams where I was the only girl for a long time. So playing against boys like Daly Cherry Evans, Chrissy Sandow, all these boys that I've only just realised that I was actually playing against. And
that's crazy.
When I saw Daly recently, I was like, do you remember playing against me? And he's like, yeah, I remember you, but I don't remember any of those guys. To me, they were just a boy playing league. And when I look back at the program and to see that it was those boys that I was playing against, it's kind of crazy now. We're all, we're at the NRL and they're playing the men's game and I get to play the women's game. It's kind of crazy how it's ended up, because I never ever thought that there would be an NRLW, or I always imagined me being a girl, but them letting me play in the men's competition. That was what I dreamed of, and that's what I thought. I'd write all these letters and get people to put me in the men's team because I love the game so much. And when we found out we were going to have an NRLW, it's kind of crazy how that all came about. There was 30 of us, and we put together like a dream board or what we wanted to do in women's rugby league, and it was play for an NRL team. And the next year, I think it was, the Brisbane Broncos had a team and we were off and running. So going from playing against some of these guys and going away from the game from the age of 12 and coming back to the game at 18, it was kind of crazy that I got to reach my dreams eventually. And now it's trying to stay in the game as long as I can and enjoy what I get to do now, because I never thought I would get this opportunity, and I do. And girls are always going to get these opportunities now. So how amazing that there's this competition that girls don't have to dream to be in the men's competition now. They've got their own competition. It's only going to grow over the years.
So you only got to play essentially 2 years, and then that was it. So it's like for 10 to 12, and then that was it until age 18.
Yeah.
Wow, that's crazy.
So I played a fair bit of footy. I was playing at school and touch football. So I was playing locally, just when I was a little kid playing with the adults and touch football. But when I was 11, so I made the Met West team when I was 11, and I actually tried out for it when I was 12. And the coach said, we're not going to pick Ali this year because she's not going to have a future in the game. So they wanted to give a little boy the opportunity to go on and keep playing footy because they knew that I was going to have to leave the game. So it hurts
egg
now.
on their face, isn't it?
I know, but
Right.
you know,
How good now though that
people.
How good now that the girls, they don't even have to worry about that. Like, you've paved the way, and all the other women as well have paved the way for these young girls to just step into NRL from a young age and continue it. And they don't have to stop and branch off to say touch footy or something like that. They've just got endless opportunities now. It's awesome.
Yeah, that's where we're seeing the girls come through now that have never had to leave the game. So I didn't start at the age of 6, but some girls did. So those girls that started at the age of 6, they're now playing in the women's comp. So they've never had to leave the game. They've played under 12 girls, 14, 16s, 18s. Now I'm running beside them at origin level. So it's kind of crazy to see. And you'll only see the talent get better and better. Nothing against the girls that have been there for a while, but you know, we had to leave and go and play other sports and do all other things. Whereas these kids have been in professional or, you know, quite serious competitions since a young age. So you're going to see the talent only get better and better.
That's the thing. Even the coaching and development, especially through those teenage years, is going to be there now. So like you said, the talent is just going to be through the roof.
I think
that's what you're finding with the coaching is they're coming, people are wanting to coach the women's team. There's nothing, or the girls teams, there's nothing against, you know, dads doing the job, and some of them know a lot of stuff, but you know, sometimes with the girls teams it was, oh, can your dad coach because we don't have a coach, and can your sister play because we need more players. But that's not happening now. We're having men's coaches, we're having really elite coaches wanting to be a part of our game because they know how enjoyable it is and how much like I have a close relationship with Scotty Prince, and he actually loves that girls learn so much quicker than boys. So you could get a boy and he could be, you know, playing since the age of 6, so he knows what he's doing. But with girls, they're so raw and the talent is there. It's just got to be, you know, picked apart and taught, and that's what he sees. He sees excitement. And he gets a big buzz out of seeing me play and teaching me little tricks that he learnt over the years. So you're finding that these coaches are definitely coming to the game.
Yeah, I think
that's such a good thing, and something that's so needed as well. I think especially for like player development, like I said, having those people like Scotty Prince who's been there and done it all, that knowledge and the little tips and tricks that he can give girls at a younger age is going to make such a massive difference.
Huge difference. I think that's like another thing we spoke about last week, just with the NRL expanding. Obviously we have 6 teams this year when it does kick off. So we've lost the Warriors, but we've really struggled to go from the 4 and then expand to the 6. But now hearing what you're saying and understanding that the growth is just going to be massive in the next, say, 5-10 years, why can't we have, you know, a full season NRLW instead of just, you know, everyone plays each other once and then we play a grand final. Yeah, I think once we get all these girls up there, it's just going to be huge, and there will be that possibility to have the longer seasons.
Yeah, it's hard to so as a group, you know, when we come together, like I said, that 30 that came together to decide about NRLW, it's the game is growing, but we know we can only go in certain time frames kind of thing. So with the 6 teams this year, that, you know, that's not a big stretch, but that's probably our limit for this year. We're trying to get girls to that have come from these programs and these systems to make sure they're professional. And, you know, when we play in front of crowds and on TV, you know, it needs to be a great spectacle for everyone. We need the fitness levels of everyone to be up there, and we need the right pre-seasons and all these things put in place. So with people still having jobs, it's really hard to say, all right, well, let's have a 20-week pre-season. Can you go and tell your boss that you need 20 weeks off your full-time job? That kind of puts boundaries on how far we can go just yet. But every game that we play, every competition that's around, we're always getting more viewers. We're getting more sponsors on board. broadcasters want to have our game on their channel, and that's where it's going to. So each game, it's like a challenge. It's let's see how many people can watch our game, and let's see how many people we can get in the crowd. And that's the only way. That's how the men's game grew so fast, is the response from the public was there. So everywhere we go now, people are wanting to see our games. And I don't know how many times I get asked, when's the NRLW starting, and why isn't it on TV now, and why don't we have 12 teams, and all of these. But it is a slow progress, and they will probably be adding more teams next year, depending on what happens this year. So each year we'll just chip away at it, add more teams, just like the AFLW. But I'm hoping, I think in maybe 3 or 4 years we'll be full time.
Do you think
I could imagine that would be the case? Like I don't want to sort of compare NRLW to AFLW too much. They're obviously different games, but watching the AFLW compared to the NRLW, AFL obviously went sort of the route of sort of not stockpiling, but sort of bringing in as many as they possibly could and try and make a big competition. And whereas the NRLW obviously did the complete opposite to that. But you look at the level that you guys are at, even over the last 4 years, like the skill level is way up there, and it sort of shows that people are wanting to go to the games, people are wanting to watch it on TV. Like there is a market out there for the female game now, off the back of it being a spectacle that people really want to get involved with.
Yeah. So that's something that AFL did, and that's great. A lot of those girls have got massive opportunities out of that. But it's also played all over Australia, and that's something that, you know, we don't have too many teams in Victoria and places like that. But our game's growing. We got that many people wanting to join our game that I think going slowly is actually quite good. You know, you can build your clubs up, you can build, you know, the Broncos up, and these clubs coming in, build them up, get them a base, get them some junior girls coming through, get them affiliated with teams. So it's like an Intrust going, or a New South Wales Cup going into NRL. If someone gets injured, you know, you can just pick from that bunch below. I think it's getting those systems in place that makes the game so good, and why people want to keep watching it is because we're doing it. I'm not saying AFL do it wrong, but I just think we're doing it a different way, and I'm really happy with how it is going. People are begging for it everywhere I go. Like I said, people are asking about it, and young girls are saying to me, how do I make that NRLW team? How do I play for the Brisbane Broncos? And that's what you want. You want people wanting to be a part of it. And you'll, like, even this year, having all those teams join, the Knights, Para, and the Titans, that's amazing for the Gold Coast. They've got so many potential young girls. They're very talented down on the Gold Coast. So you're going to see new talent arise, but I think doing it a couple of teams each year is the best way to go. Especially
the way they've sort of picked those areas. Like obviously you got Brisbane's a big rugby league area. You got the Gold Coast is probably a big rugby league area, but it's just athletic in all sort of factors. You got like touch football and AFL, so they could sort of, it's just an athletic area. Then you got places like Para, which is big pools, places like the Knights, big pools. Like they're going after those bigger areas, and then obviously once they take over those areas, they can start divvying them up, especially like in Western Sydney. Obviously you got a bunch of teams that you can pick from. But I think that, like you said, I think what they're doing as far as like that slow burn, that slow process, obviously it's going to take a little bit longer to get to where they want to be, but the end product's going to be so much better. And those areas, they're development wise, there's a lot of girls playing in those areas. So, you know, they're doing it right. Like you said, they're putting them in places where there's a lot of girls playing the game. And, you know, up in Cairns, Townsville, where there's very promising talent up there, I think the Cowboys will be soon to have a team. So we put them in places where there's, you know, 19-year-olds waiting to play the game, and that's the best way to go, making sure you've got the systems in place every club. And, you know, it's not as easy as just a club to want to have a team. They've got to have a facility for the girls to train. They've got to have coaches there. It's not just as easy as saying, I want a team here.
and that's how it works. You need to do it right. You need to, and that's where the Brisbane Broncos have the facility, because the men's got a new one, coaching staff, you know, it's established within the club. So you got to think about how you're going to do it, but I only see promising signs for other teams to join.
And I think that all stems back to money. It's all money. So it's all, if you get the media coverage, if you get the viewers, if you get the numbers, it's going to bring in more money into the game. And something that we touched on too was, obviously you just mentioned, girls can't do a 20-week preseason because they've got full-time jobs that they've got to juggle with, you know, keeping their elite level like football status as well. So like what we want to know is how do you do it? So you obviously work full-time, and then you're expected to play, you know, at the same level, or like, I guess I don't want to compare it to the NRL because it's a different game. And you guys, for me, play a completely different game. It's very aggressive and it's full on, and it's almost like old school footy. But how do you keep your bodies good and ready to go while you're still working, and then I guess maintaining, you know, a family life as well?
Yeah, so there is restrictions around that. You can't, when you're a part of an NRLW club, you can't train any of your girls before 3 p.m. So or 3:30. So you've got to you allow those people to go to the jobs and make sure they fulfill their jobs before they come to training. But I think girls, like, we've always known that it's been a bit difficult to be a part of the game. So if it's not, you're not the only girl when you're younger, you're the girl training on your own, because you only, like, you know, there's not teams in every city. So it's trying to, you know, most of the time I go to the field and have to train on my own, or train with my wife, or, you know, have those opportunities where you just got to get through it and do it on your own. And that's something that we've always done. There's a girl in our Broncos team, she literally finishes a night shift, or comes straight from work, and it's like, you haven't slept, and she's like, no, it's all right, I'll just finish training, I'll sleep after. And I'm just like, I don't know how you do it. It is challenging, but when you love a game so much, I think that's what, you just get on with it. You find the time to rest, and you find the time to fit in work and those sorts of things, because you want to be a part of this game and you want to see it grow. It's challenging at times. Sometimes I just want to play footy. I don't want all the rest of it that comes with it. I just want to take the field. There's so many meetings around what the competition looks like. Why are we playing there? Do you want to play on grand final day? Like, there's so many meetings and so many surveys. Sometimes I just wish, you know, when will those things disappear? And when can I just go to the club, you know, train and play footy? When do these meetings stop? And I am a pioneer of the game, and I am growing the game, and, you know, I appreciate that I get to do that. But sometimes it all gets on top of you, and you just think, you know, you spend half the day on the phone trying to organize things, where it'd just be nice to go to training, play some footy, and do those sorts of things. So yeah, I do appreciate it. It's just hard sometimes, you know, fitting in all these different things. There's meetings all day, like I said. So and every girl's the same, so everyone works really hard in the game to make sure it's running smoothly, and we're doing the right things within the game. So you know, when I'm 50, I can sit at home and watch this perfectly put together competition and enjoy it, and know that I was a part of putting that together and working hard, and those times where it was stressful were all worth it.
I was going to say those times in retirement, when you are able to look it back, it's sort of essentially something that you had such a big impact on happening. You probably definitely tip your hat to it and be pretty stoked that you were like such a vital part in getting it up and running. But yeah, like I said, the effort that you girls go through for pure love for the game is such a credit to, like you said, how, like, the last thing you want to do when you finish your night shift is go on training, and like you said, during the day, having to take all these phone calls and do all this extra stuff when all you really want to do is just sort of play footy. Yeah, there's not a lot of people out there could do that.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, no, but it's all worth it in the end. But yeah, when it comes to putting together competitions and putting together teams and yeah, all that work that goes into it. I don't think everyone actually sees everything that someone's done, or what they've had to do to get on that field to play that game, how many hours they've had to work, or how many things they've missed out on just to play that game. So yeah, I'm sure everyone has their own story, but I just think, yeah, women work very hard into making sure they're the best fitness wise on the field, and they play the game in the right manner. So yeah, like I said, everyone has their story, but some of them just blow my mind, that someone can go straight from night shift to training, or things like that. It's just crazy what girls do.
Yeah, well, I think on that too, you just said talking about injuries before. You had a pretty bad injury a few years back, and you couldn't play footy for a while, and you went into boxing for a little bit. But I guess my question will be, how do you and I guess maybe the other girls feel when you do get injured at the moment? So if you get injured, say now, touch wood, and then you can't play the season, where does that take like your mental health? Where do you see yourself? Like, do you think if I'm out for a whole season, is that my career done? Or, do you have the facilities, I guess, to work back up into, that top level again?
Yeah, so it is all there, and you do get looked after when it comes to injuries, but we're also required to play in a local competition in Brisbane, because NRLW isn't as long as we'd hope just yet. But so we play locally. So if I get injured in that local competition and potentially out for the year, that's a loss of income. I don't get to play for the NRLW team, and that's quite a significant hit to an income and a lifestyle, I guess, that you don't even get to be a part of it because you're injured, and you missed out because you're playing a local game of footy on a Saturday. So those things are quite challenging, and that has happened to a few girls this year, and it's devastating to see that they won't get to take part in that because of an injury that happened at local footy. So we're not contracted all year round, and that's probably something that we need to move towards, is being contracted for a couple of years rather than 6 months or whatever it is. So if you're contracted for a year, you've got that security around if you get injured, and a bit of support if you've got full-time work and you are injured. So we are working towards that. But yeah, injuries suck, but I guess they're in everything, in every sport and in everyday life. So you just learn to get on with it. You find your support systems, your family, your friends that want to be there for you, work hard and try and get back on the field as quick as you can.
Yeah.
You're saying about those local comps that you play in. I know you're at Brothers for a little bit. What inspired the move to Valleys? Was that Scotty's doing? Yeah,
so we work full time together. So
right.
We'd been away on a trip. So I went and watched him train after one trip, because we're going to dinner after that or something. And I was standing there, and the president came down and he said, "What would it take to get you to play at this club?" And I just said, "Well, if you have a decent coach, if Scott Prince is your coach, the girls will come." And I think it was like the next day that had conversations, and he's coached me before, so he was on board, and the girls just kept coming. I think in their first expressions of interest, we had over 70 girls apply. So, and that's what happens. The club is amazing at Valleys. Nothing against Brothers. It was just really challenging trying to find girls that were committed and wanted to go to that next level in that competition in the BHP. So some girls play league just for the fun, and some girls want to take it to the next level. And with the growth in some areas, it's really hard. Injuries can wipe out a whole local team. So you get a couple of season-ending injuries, and then you're short. So those are all challenges that you still face in women's footy, and trying to make sure your squad's big enough, because you've got a friend coming down to try rugby league, and she gets injured because she hasn't played for a while, or never played. So those are all things that are still around. But yeah, with Princey at Valleys and the coaching team there, they're amazing guys, and they work so hard within the game. So I guess girls just wanted to be a part of it, and we had a pretty successful year, taking out the minor premiership, unfortunately losing. But I think that's a good start, and that's a good base for a club, and the girls are just dying to get back for the Valleys.
How good for you though. That's your name out there. That's pretty much started that club. Like, I guess Ali Brigginshaw comes to you, says, get me a good coach and, you know, we'll start a team, and you've got 70 girls running to come play for your team. Like, that's huge. That's just massive in sport in general. That's not just women's sport. That's sport. Like, where do you get 70 people wanting to come play for one team? Huge.
Yeah, it's what league does. You know, people want to be a part of it. I have so many ladies come up to me, and they're mothers now, and they go, all I dreamt of doing when I was a little girl was playing league, and there was never that opportunity for me. And now they're like, but I'm 50. I think I'm too old to play now. And I'm like you can play at whatever age, but it's just funny that, you know, that's a lot of the conversations, and they always come up and say, thank you, you know, you're living what I wished I got to do. And so they always say thank you for setting up pathways for their daughters and things like that. But, you know, to have 70 girls come to a club, and we would have 30 each week. Now, when I first started playing league when I was 18, I was in one of the best teams at South Logan, but we might have 5 to training. We might have to get someone's sister, cousin, aunties to come down and run the wing for us because we didn't have enough players. So to have, you know, people wanting, you don't want people to leave clubs, but having people knocking on the door at the Valleys wanting to be a part of it was something pretty special. And to go through a whole year and have 24 to 26 girls showing up to training each week wanting to be a part of it, and fighting for spots in the team, that was probably the most enjoyable part of the year. Is the team not relying on a couple of people. Everyone wanted to be there, everyone worked hard, and that was, yeah, the most exciting part of having a new club, is seeing how many people wanted to be a part of it.
It probably shows the growth of the local competitions too, when you have players have the ability to sort of start chopping and changing and moving teams, and not necessarily, like you said, you've only got 5 people turning up to training, so they're sort of committed to that team. Otherwise, they might fall down. So it's good that not only the NRLW is growing so much, but the local footy's obviously getting huge as well.
Yeah, well, that's where you want to see the potential. I think quite a few girls from our Valleys team that get to sign contracts now with NRLW clubs. And without having that there, they may not have got that opportunity. So having those girls come to training, progress, and just there's a girl, I think she's over 30, she's signed an NRLW contract. She's got a couple of kids, and it's her first year in league, and she's about to pull on a jersey. Like, that is just crazy that the talent's there, and they've just developed within a year to go and pull on an NRLW jersey. It's just crazy, but that's where we're getting to. There's so many opportunities for girls to be a part of the competition this year, that people are getting jerseys and getting opportunities in their first year of league. So that's amazing.
So one of the girls we work with, Meg Ward, even she was posted in the Northern Territory and sort of decided to play the local comp there, then made the state team, then went to the state comp down in Adelaide, and then pretty much got, I think, like she played for Australia before she played like sort of any like really high level, and like she's a perfect example of how quickly they can make a career out of a sport that they haven't really played too much of before.
Yeah, that's what can happen. And she's not the only story like that. There's so many. You just find a talented girl, put them into league, and you just see them shine. And that's something that some girls, one girl last year, I think she'd played, I got a video on my phone of her, and she'd played some sevens, and she said, watch this video. Within like a day, she was signed at the Broncos. She played 3 games, and then she played, what did she play? And I think she went straight into the Australian team from there, and she'd played 3 games of league.
Incredible.
Like it's crazy, but these girls are coming, and that's what scares you when you're older, is these young girls are coming, and all it takes is a few good games and the talent coming through that they could take your position. So it's always about making sure you keep your spot no matter what.
Yeah,
definitely. Train extra hard now. Keep the body good.
Yeah, nothing like
I don't want anyone young coming through yet.
Yeah.
Oh, those will be the days. Couple of years, might have to watch you back. You know, little.
I know. I'm hoping 5 more years. I want 5 more years.
That's a good number, I think. Yeah. Hodge, you got any more questions?
No, I think that was pretty much it. Pretty pretty much touched on a lot of most of that local comp stuff. I've like been around it obviously a lot, but you can sort of see the growth through like obviously friends with Wardy, and she was at South Logan, and just the participation levels that you even see on Instagram and stuff. And like you touched on before about girls training by themselves quite often. So many of the like the NRLW level girls that I follow on Instagram are constantly posting stuff where they're down at the oval with either their boyfriend or their girlfriend, or it's just the two of them all alone doing those extras and doing everything they need to do to make sure they're right to go for the comp. I just think every girl that's doing all that work coming through, and or that has already made it and still doing all that work, I think you should all be very very proud of yourselves.
Yeah, that's what it's about, working hard. And if you really want something, it's not what you can do as a team, it's what you can do on your own. And that's something that, it is challenging, but try and make it fun. Take the family down, do those sorts of things. But I work at Ipswich High with a few kids. They've got a little girls program there. There's probably 100-something girls in that program. And
wow,
just seeing how many people are there in, year 7, 8, and 9, how many girls are playing league. When I was at high school, I played in one local competition my whole high schooling, and these kids get to do it as a subject at school. Like, it's absolutely insane, but it's only, it's crazy. I say to them, I only played one carnival in my whole league career at school, and they're like, oh, didn't you play in that carnival? I was like, no, there was no carnivals. Like, you're not understanding how lucky you are to be doing. They literally do it as a subject. I just can't get my head around doing rugby league as a subject. And
I was saying on our first episode, any girl that's at any age, but probably specifically sort of 12 and up at the moment, who has athletic ability, has almost their pick of any sport they want to do, like AFL, like MMA, rugby league. Like, there's just so much opportunity for them if they want to get into it. And I think it's probably about time, really. It's been a long time coming.
Yeah,
the opportunities are endless. I have a question for Katie.
Yeah.
Will she be going for the Parramatta women's team or the Broncos women's team?
I'll just go check what's in my cupboard, but I'm pretty sure they're all blue and gold jerseys. Yeah.
No good.
No, sorry, I don't swap teams. It's I can't go away from can't go away from Para. Like, obviously you have my support, but Para's going to win both premierships this year. That's what I've heard, but maybe.
Possibly. No, we'll see. Well, the Broncos men's aren't winning that competition, so
yeah, definitely
maybe
not.
next year.
Sore point.
Yeah, don't talk about it.
All right, I've got a few questions just from Instagram. We had a few people write in. I've just taken a few nice little quick ones. Besides footy, what would be your dream job if you couldn't play footy?
Teaching. I kind of do that with my job now, but I love working with kids, and I wasn't the greatest student when I was at school, so that's probably my biggest regret in life. Is I definitely took school for granted. I was that naughty kid that spent a lot of time in detentions and not listening. So my role in life now is to make kids appreciate school, and especially girls. I see young girls just from grade 7 just learning bad attitudes and bad manners towards teachers, and just having no respect for anyone. And it's just trying to get them to understand that you aren't better than them. You need to respect them and appreciate school, because not everyone got to go to school when they were younger, and they don't have that opportunity. So teaching would be my job.
Do you think that's even after you do finish with footy, I guess you'll probably stay within footy in some way, but do you see yourself, pursuing a career in teaching even after you retire?
Yeah, everyone's so we get help from a wellbeing officer in league, and she's always pushing me to do it. I'm probably just scared of uni. Like I said, I didn't pay attention at school, so I don't know how great I would be at it. So if football, I don't know if there's a way that I can do it. It is something that I am very passionate about. So possibly.
Yeah.
Would you stick to that teenage sort of age or younger?
I like that team. I think you lose a lot of girls to other things other than sport. So, if it's going down the wrong path or finding parties rather than something that they actually enjoyed. So you see a lot of talented, it happens in the men's as well, but you see a lot of talented kids, unfortunately, come join the wrong crowd and then go down the wrong path. And my aim in life is to stop that or give kids the love they need that they're not getting at home to want to go to school and if they want to be the best league player in the world, then they've got the opportunity to do it. They just got to steer clear of some bad habits or some bad role models and pave the way for themselves. So giving them the confidence to do that. Not every kid wakes up in the morning and has the best life in the world. So trying to give them a better life when they come to school and show them that they can do anything.
That's awesome.
Yeah, how good's that? Next question. When it says here, when will Ali sign with the Tricolours?
Never.
Yeah.
Nah, I've always said I'm a Bronco and only a Bronco. So like some of the boys, I'm loyal to that club and only, I am getting older now. So I've never had an offer from another club. So I've only ever had never. No one even calls me from any other club. I don't know. Maybe
Do you
I'm
think?
scary.
Yeah. Well, do you think they're just like, Ali and Broncos, they just go kind of hand in hand? Like you probably can't be taken away from there, and everyone knows that.
Yeah, well, I work there full time, so they probably know that. But everyone gets all these offers from every other club, and yeah, I'm a sole Bronco. But yeah, I love it, and if I wouldn't move away from family, so only a Brizzy girl.
That's fair. And last question, I think it's from a pretty special person in your life. It just says, is it true you credit your wife for all your success?
She wishes, nah. We have been training together actually lately, and it's like a dream of mine to just go to the field, because I've got to do these long running sessions and they go for like 40 minutes and it's really hard to just run on your own, no one there. So I asked if she could come down, and the first session we did, it nearly ended in divorce, but the look she was giving me is not good, but by the end of it she loved it. So it was a dream come true to be able, I know it just gives that extra time. I have a busy life, and sometimes if I have to leave to go to training, I'd rather us all go and try and make fun of it and make the most of that time together. So it is always great having support, and she is very supportive for me. She watches my games. I don't know how many times she watches the game over and over and over again and picks it apart now that she knows what she's watching, and picks apart the games. But it is awesome, and hopefully she can get some NRLW games, because last year it was quite lonely finishing a game and not having anyone there in the crowd.
Yeah, I bet. Yeah, and who won that?
Did she play any sport? Sorry?
No, she's a runner. No. She does running. She runs every day. She's mad.
Did she win that race on Sunday? She keeps claiming that she won some.
Yeah.
I
was actually filthy on that, but I knew she has done that before, but I was like, no, that'll be real nice. We'll just finish together, and we'll get a photo on the finish line, at the same time. Next minute she's racing past an older lady, a younger kid, and then she just takes off on me, and I was filthy.
Spirit.
Even in the photo, you can see it in the photo that she wins the race, and next year it'll be on.
Yeah, just cheeky little trip next time she tries to do it, I think. All right, and we have a couple of would you rathers. Hodgie, do you want to do yours?
Right, so my would you rather, it's sport related. going away from NRLW, would you rather go to an AFL Grand Final at the MCG or a Boxing Day Test?
AFL.
AFL
AFL
That's what I said.
actually, like, I've never actually been to watch an AFL game.
Ever.
I really want to go, and I feel like that would be awesome to learn how to kick a ball properly. No, I've never been to an AFL game.
I actually just took
I've
up
heard
AFL
it's amazing. Like
5
even
years
league
ago.
fans have told us.
Yeah. I started playing just in the local comp here probably about 5 years ago, and I still haven't been to a game, but everyone says watching AFL live is way better than NRL, I guess, because of how big the field is and all the stuff that happens off the ball. So I need to go watch one.
So I know I need to watch one too. Yeah, organize it.
We can organise tickets this year because I'm pretty sure COVID will make all the other states lock down, and we'll probably have the grand final up here again.
Yeah, that could work. That could be good.
Yeah.
AFL game on the list.
Yeah, I think I still disagree. I think the Boxing Day Test, 100%. Anyways, my question you kind of already answered, and it was, would you rather not have a women's, wait, what was it? Would you rather play in the men's comp or not have any women's footy at all? But you already said you wanted to sign up to the men's comp, so that's gone. But so I'm going to ask my other question. Okay, if you had to, would you choose Parramatta or Penrith?
Penrith.
Yes.
Sorry, I am like,
yes.
it's not that Parramatta's at the bottom of my list, because they're definitely not. But like, there's a few teams that I just do not follow, and unfortunately, Para is on the list of those. I love Gutho though; like, he is a freak. They've got some amazing players. I think it's just when you're younger, like Parramatta versus Broncos, like it was just like a bit of a rivalry. So, in Penrith, Nathan Cleary is like the best footballer going around. So I can't say no to Nathan Cleary.
What team's at the bottom of your list?
Melbourne.
Will anyone hate me if I say this? Bulldogs and Sharks.
Bulldogs and Sharks, really?
That's weird.
You don't hear that often. Yeah, I don't hear that one often. That's interesting.
Really?
Yeah,
no,
normally it's heaps of people
always
like
Melbourne.
Yeah, always
what?
Melbourne.
I love the Storm. I watch them train and I see the things they do. Like, there's a reason they're the best. Every team should want to be Melbourne. Like, I know they're at the top.
Too.
Yeah. But I was watching them train the other day because we were at Origin and they're at Sunshine Coast Stadium. They were doing a weight session and that was fun. And then coach must blow a whistle. They run out of the gym. They all get on the field and practice passing within their gym session. And I was like, no wonder when you watch them, they're clinical. They do things right. And is that
incorporated into their weight session?
Yeah. So literally they'll be like, finish their set and then they'll go and do passing.
Far out.
It's like a pass relay, but like, how many teams would you see do that in between gym, like in their gym session?
Not many, I don't reckon.
Yeah,
not many.
But when you watch them play, who's the people that hold on to the ball the most? Who's the ones that make the least errors?
Yeah, they're not as good as they are for no reason. That's for sure. Maybe that's why people don't like them so much.
That's exactly why, because people hate them because they're so good, like just always so good.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's it. That's pretty much all we've got. Oh,
don't
be.
That's right. We'll have words at work and about it anyway. So
it's all right. Most people dislike the Broncos. Like, you get a few people that are just like, the Broncos are at the bottom of my list. Like, I can't stand them. But when you play for them, they have the biggest fan base ever. Like, they've got the most loyal fans you'll come across. And when I go to the club, if I go to the club now for work, there's the same supporters sitting there having a coffee waiting for the boys to train. Like, there are some loyal fans, and I get a letter every time I go to the club. There's a letter waiting from me from one of their supporters just asking me to sign things. So they're very loyal and they love their club. So
yeah, you definitely see that.
I've got a couple of really good mates that are going to be very happy to hear that.
Yeah.
Which
and
I bet you
they're loyal Broncos fans.
Massive.
They are, yeah.
Yeah.
Huge.
See?
I'll give them that.
Yeah.
Yeah, you have to be loyal if you only win a few games a year. So
Oh, well. Not
But
the
we-
women. Only
but-
lost one, but
Yeah.
full credit to yourself, hey.
Perfect. All right. Well,
All
yeah, I
right.
think that's pretty much it. Thanks so much again
Yeah.
for coming on. We really appreciate you taking the
No,
time.
work
Obviously,
hard, work hard.
this
No
podcast is
worries.
in its very early days, but yeah, we really appreciate you taking the time and coming on for us.
Yeah, thanks.
No worries. We can chat again once Sis have done a few.
Yeah, sounds good. Hopefully, once your
Like
season kind of kicks in,
recall.
yeah, we'll get some updates.
Yeah, hopefully soon. We had a meeting today, so shouldn't be too far away.
Okay,
Perfect.
fingers crossed.
Perfect. Well, good
Cool.
luck. Hopefully everything goes well for you guys, and your season gets up and running. And you guys will be starting a preseason soon if it gets going.
Fingers crossed.
Oh,
New South
Perfect.
Wales needs to get better.
Amen.
Those para
Amen to
girls
that.
don't want to be bringing that COVID to Brisbane. so.
Yeah. True that.
Nah, I don't know. Everyone's in their own situations, but it's a bit harder for us to get it off the ground. So fingers crossed we get something soon.
Yeah, hopefully. Cool.
Yeah.
Awesome. All right. Well, thank you
Cool.
very much again. And yeah,
No,
we'll talk to
no
you again
worries.
soon.
All right,
Perfect. See you
thanks.
later.
Cool. Thanks,
Bye.
guys. See you
See
later.
ya. Bye.
Bye.
How good.
That was unreal. So
Yeah.
really lovely
It's-
person. So crazy to hear. Like you kind of know how much they go through, sort of juggling everything. But one thing I never really took into account was all the extra stuff she does as far as like the admin side and being a part of the group of people that really got the game to where it is at the moment. And obviously
Yeah.
that's still ongoing. It's nuts. It's crazy.
Yeah, like they're still in their growth phase. Like, what is it? The fourth season? Yeah, and it's
Yeah.
still in very, very at the start. So, oh, I'm excited for the season to start really and see some good footy.
Yeah, especially with the new teams coming in. I think having those extra teams and sort of extending the season a little bit,
Yeah.
is it's going to be awesome.
Yeah, hopefully, but that all depends on COVID as well. So we'll just wait and see, and we'll try and talk to Ali again closer to probably the end of the year, and hopefully they've got some games under the belt.
I mean, surely they can figure it out. I mean, I don't know whether it's not good for the game to just can their season.
No.
Like they have the ability to put them into a bubble and do all the stuff that they need to do, especially because it's such a I mean, it's not over a full season, you know what I mean? So it's only over a couple of months. I'm sure that they can figure something out and get the comp up and running.
Yeah, but it's all comes down to money again, doesn't it? So it'll be if the clubs want to invest that money into the girls, I guess, going into a bubble, and then maybe even moving the comp up here.
I think that's what will happen.
Yeah.
I don't know where I mean, it is only July, so I mean, anything can really happen. I don't know. I just have this feeling that the comp's going to spend the rest of the year up here and the grand final and everything will be done here. I think if that happens, that's probably going to be a good thing for NRLW because they will just be able to move everyone up here. Everyone goes into a bubble. They play all their games as they normally would, as the men are doing it.
Yeah.
But yeah, I guess the administration people will look after that and hopefully it gets off the ground for them.
Yeah, fingers crossed. Cool. Well, that's probably it. We could chat about the Olympics, but I think this is we've probably gone on for a little bit.
Yeah,
and we might do a little episode midweek or something, and we can talk about, I guess, what Australia's up to in the Olympics at that point.
So there's plenty to talk about.
Yeah.
At the moment.
Yeah, I've had some good days off. I've just been watching the Olympics pretty much the whole time. Like I see all the swimming live, so it's great.
Oh, it's been unreal, hey. That's what I think that's my favorite sport in the Olympics is the swimming. Obviously, because Australia is pretty heavy into it. We probably don't do that as well in the athletic side.
Yeah, definitely not.
It's just so exciting to watch. It's unreal.
Yeah. I reckon I've cried about 10 times a day. Just like, I'm like, surely they're just like, that's got to be the best feeling. Turning around, seeing you've won, and then like, oh, I can't even imagine it.
I'm not a crier by any stretch of the means, but I watched the I shared it on my Facebook. It was a clip that Seven made of around Titmus winning the 400, but they had a clip of her race and then her parents and her coach, like all in one thing.
Yep.
And it was something about her grandparents
Oh, it was her nan in the
being
middle.
on the couch. I was just like,
Yeah.
oh my God, it's like, what is even happening to me? But yeah, it's so good. Like, it sucks that they weren't there to be able to watch it live, but
yeah,
the fact that they like Seven's obviously got around and set it up so they can sort of have some sort of celebration for them.
yeah, be there together. Yeah,
It's awesome. Yeah,
yeah,
it's really good. Good
All
on
right.
Channel 7.
Yeah, and
Perfect.
good on us as well. So second episode, we did it. We made it. Hopefully we'll have this out.
Successful.
If you've listened to this, it's probably Thursday night. And we'll get it out just before the footy kicks off, so you can listen beforehand.
Yeah.
Yep. And
we might do an Olympics thing a bit later.
Yep, sounds good.
Have a little chat. Perfect. All right.
All right.
Until next time.
Okay. Bye-bye.
Yeah.